Today, we're embarking on a journey to unravel the Indians of Fiji, a country celebrated for its nature and enchanting beaches. However, did you know about 140 years ago, Fiji stood untouched by Indian presence and cultures? Today, over 48% of the Fijian population is of Indian descent. How did this fascinating transformation occur? What drove these Indians to choose Fiji, a land so distant from their roots? Was the journey smooth, or does Fiji's history conceal dark, untold secrets that brought them here? These questions likely dance in your mind, sparking curiosity, and rest assured, we share your intrigue and more. In this captivating video, we're unveiling lesser-known facts about the Indian population in Fiji, a true marvel, secrets that might surprise even the most seasoned travelers. Situated 1,100 nautical miles northeast of New Zealand, Fiji emerges as a paradisiacal island nation, boasting a collection of 333 captivating islands. The landscape is a symphony of lush tropical beauty, pristine beaches, captivating coral reefs, and volcanic terrain. Every nook of this land exudes picture-perfect charm, contributing to Fiji's tourism, which annually rakes in over $358 million in revenue. Beyond tourism, the nation's vitality hinges on its robust fish and agricultural sectors. Blessed with consistently warm tropical weather throughout the year, Fiji is renowned for cultivating delectable tropical fruits and nurturing hefty sugarcane crops. Now, let's address the main topic: the influx of Indian culture in this vibrant nation. Transport yourself to the historical events of the 1870s, where the intricate story of Indian migration to Fiji begins. In 1874, Fiji became a British colony under the rule of the British Crown, setting the stage for a transformative chapter in history. Recognizing Fiji's economic potential, particularly in sugarcane cultivation, the British sought to maximize production and revenue through the utilization of inexpensive plantation labor. The monumental journey commenced on May 15, 1879, with the arrival of the Leonidas, a British ship carrying approximately 60,000 Indian laborers to Fiji. Their contracts bound them to 5 years of indentured labor under the British government. However, the reality awaiting them in Fiji was far from the promised utopia. The arduous sea voyages aboard British ships, lasting several months, subjected the laborers to harsh conditions and significant hardships. Upon reaching Fiji, they discovered the stark truth. They were brought in as disguised slaves to endure the worst working environments. The initial excitement gave way to the harsh reality of intolerable working conditions, meager wages that barely covered living expenses, and a complete lack of freedom. Work demanded physical endurance, with grueling hours extending up to 15 hours a day in extreme temperatures, devoid of breaks. Inadequate living conditions in small huts added to the misery. Attempts to return home were met with coercion to continue working, making life on the island unbearable. While the initial contracts were for 5 years, they were later extended to 10, perpetuating the cycle of indentured servitude. Despite the challenging circumstances, the British government continued to bring in new labor, and the existing Indian population on the island had no means of communication to warn potential migrants back home. The year 1916 marked a turning point when Mahatma Gandhi's intervention led to the abolition of indentured immigration by the British government. Finally free, the Indians had a choice to make. They could return home to their families and loved ones, escaping the harsh conditions and demanding labor. However, here's the twist: most of them chose to stay, leaving an indelible mark on the cultural fabric of Fiji. Agriculture forms the backbone of Fiji's economy, a legacy shaped significantly by the arrival of indentured Indians. Today, the Indian community has burgeoned to over 350,000 individuals, constituting approximately 38% of the Indian population. They have evolved into the largest ethnic group in the country, a formidable presence that commands attention. So, what prevented the Indians from making the journey back to India, even in the face of their miserable existence as quasi-slaves in Fiji? The answer lies in the confluence of paltry wages and shattered morale. The harsh reality was that they simply couldn't afford the trip, no matter how fervently they yearned to reunite with their families and reclaim their normal lives. Before the indenture contracts, their options were limited. They had no choice but to endure their plight in Fiji. However, a glimmer of agency emerged as they sought alternative employment opportunities with better pay and a semblance of freedom. Fiji witnessed a steady influx of Indians, surprisingly not just confined to plantation work as seen with their predecessors. Traders, doctors, businessmen, merchants, and even students ventured to Fiji, seeking opportunities to study and work. In some instances, entire families uprooted themselves from India to reunite with the member who had initially signed the contract with the British government. The country, acknowledging the invaluable contributions of Indians, embraced them as local citizens with equal rights, recognizing their hard work's impact on both society and the economy. Yet, similar to the experiences of the preceding generation, the newcomers faced their share of shocks and reality checks in Fiji. However, this time it wasn't the grueling working conditions. Rather, it was the stark differences in culture, race, religion, and language that posed formidable barriers. In essence, the foundational elements of society became a formidable wall against the integration of these new immigrants. Indians encounter profound culture shocks upon their arrival in Fiji. The most conspicuous and poignant cultural shock for these newcomers was the linguistic barrier. India, a country teeming with cultural diversity, boasts hundreds of regional languages spoken by millions. Among the indentured laborers, Hindi, Punjabi, and Gujarati were the most commonly understood languages. Traveling in groups, many Indians prefer to stick together, finding solace and a sense of belonging with their peers. However, in Fiji, the predominant language was English, posing a significant challenge for Indians whose English proficiency was often elementary at best. Basic commands could be grasped, but daily life felt severed due to the communication gap. To preserve their languages, educated Indians took the initiative to establish language schools and community groups. They also celebrated cultural events, locally known as Parola, mirroring the traditions they held dear back in India. These Indian schools became the powerhouse of the Indian community in Fiji, imparting essential skills including English proficiency, basic school subjects, and the transmission of heritage stories and cultural beliefs. Another prominent culture shock revolved around religious differences. Indo-Fijians belonged to 4 major religious households: Hinduism, Islam, Sikhism, or Christianity. Each group held strong religious duties and beliefs, evident in their day-to-day lives. Sikhs wore turbans, Hindus adorned holy statues, Muslims adhered to specific praying schedules and modest outfits. Indigenous Fijians, on the other hand, were predominantly Christians. The collision of these religious and cultural differences seemed inevitable, yet Fijians and Indo-Fijians managed to weave a tapestry that beautifully blended their beliefs, cultures and traditions, and faithful practices. This harmonious integration is the essence of Fiji's diverse cultural landscape today, a testament to the resilience and adaptability of the Indian community. This prompts us to ponder, how did these Indians, facing such stark cultural disparities, navigate their journey in this newfound land? Exploring the impact of Indians on Fiji beckons the question, how did the Indian community shape Fiji's economy and its famed society? From their arrival as indentured laborers in the late 19th century, Indo-Fijians have left an indelible mark on the nation. Initially tasked with toiling on sugarcane plantations, these laborers laid the groundwork for what would become the cornerstone of Fiji's economy, the sugarcane industry. Currently, sugar remains a key export product, contributing approximately 220 million Fijian dollars to the GDP in 2019 alone, as reported by the Fiji Sugar Corporation. Beyond sugarcane, Indo-Fijians have significantly impacted various sectors, including commerce, small business, and esteemed professions. Remarkably, over 25% of Fiji's sugarcane plantation farms today are owned by the direct descendants of those early indentured workers. Beyond economic contributions, Indians in Fiji have exerted influence in the political arena. As the indenture system declined in the early 20th century, the Indo-Fijian community, led by figures like Manilal Doctor, initiated organized political engagement through the establishment of the Kisan Sangh in 1929. This momentum led to the formation of political parties, such as the National Federation Party (NFP) in 1968, which, while primarily addressing Indo-Fijian concerns, adopted a multi-ethnic approach to foster unity with other communities, notably the indigenous Fijian population. This collaborative effort resulted in Indo-Fijians attaining prominent roles in politics, with leaders like J. Ram Reddy and Mahendra Chaudhry serving as prime ministers, highlighting the enduring social-political impact of the Indian community in Fiji since the late 19th century. Where are the Indo-Fijians today, considering their arrival on the island in 1879? Over the decades, the Indo-Fijian community has undergone transformation and diversification, leaving an indelible mark on various facets of Fijian life. Many Indo-Fijians continue to reside in Fiji, particularly in urban centers such as Suva, the capital, and Lautoka. Within these locales, they have cultivated thriving communities, exerting influence across sectors including business, education, healthcare, and politics. Integral to Fiji's multicultural identity, Indo-Fijians have woven themselves into the rich cultural tapestry of the nation. Some members of the community have chosen to explore opportunities beyond Fiji, with a significant number resettling in countries like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the United States. Driven by aspirations for improved economic prospects and political stability, these diaspora communities maintain strong cultural ties to Fiji and contribute to the global Indo-Fijian identity in their new homelands. Across the diaspora, Indo-Fijians remain active participants in the cultural, economic, and social life of their adopted countries, establishing cultural associations, places of worship, and community organizations. They preserve their cultural heritage while integrating into the diverse multicultural societies of their host nations. The Indo-Fijian diaspora plays a crucial role in fostering connections with Fiji, maintaining strong ties with families and communities back home. Despite regaining substantial economic power, Indo-Fijians continue to grapple with marginalization in various spheres, even as the influence of prominent Fijian nationalist movements wanes. While they have achieved relative success in business and trade, their position in the national political economy remains problematic. A critical aspect of this challenge is their continued status as landless individuals, with leases on their properties often allowed to expire. Embark on another exhilarating journey with us as we delve into other vibrant cultures and enchanting destinations.